product with. It's called Scott's toilet paper. I got 2 rolls here in my hand. I own these, meaning I paid or I bartered something for it. Now what I bartered for these 2 rolls was what we call currency, or as you guys like to say, money. And they say money doesn't grow on trees. That's true, but it actually, paper comes from trees. So technically, it kind of does grow on trees. But anyway, I digress. Because you never want to believe anything that people say. Because you got to verify who the people are that are saying it. And oftentimes those people are the liars. My point is, do you really own anything? Not really. See, I own this, but I'm going to use it. And then after I use it, I don't own it anymore. A lot of people think the things that they purchase or they buy with their currency or their money is theirs. But the dirty little secret is you don't really ever own anything. You're just leasing it for a time period. And then once your lease transpires or expires, it doesn't belong to you anymore. See, this toilet paper doesn't belong to me. It actually belongs to the toilet once I use it. Once it goes into the water and I flush it down the toilet, well, I don't own it anymore. We don't own our bodies. They're just being loaned to us. Once the expiration date expires, we go back to source. All these people that love talking about ownership don't know anything about ownership. Don't know that anything that you have materialistic, including yourself as an entity, is not really of and by yourself, because you don't own yourself. You know, everybody should take note of that. You don't own yourself. You can't even control yourself. You see, everybody's out here trying to consume and trying to figure out how I can possess the most things, when they don't realize that you can't own anything, because everything's on lease. And when the lease expires, the real owner gets to keep the possession or the item or the material. Everything's physical. Physical. Anything that I can interact with, that I can touch, that I can see, that I can smell, that I can taste. That's ownership. We don't own anything. And we best wrap our minds around that concept quickly. Because what I fear is going to happen is when people realize that they don't own anything, well, they're going to be pretty pissed. What do you mean I don't own anything? You can't tell me that I don't own anything. Well, if you tell me something that you actually own is not leased to you, then you actually own it. But if your own existence isn't even owned by you, meaning that it has an expiration date, and you're leasing out a body for a certain time period, oh, maybe it's 30 years, maybe it's a 40-year lease, maybe it's a 60-year lease, maybe it's an 80-year lease, maybe it's a 100-year lease. Doubtful that you get a 500-year lease or a 1,000-year lease. Nobody provides those. See, I don't own this toilet paper, but I have a right to it, because I purchased it with my own currency. So that's where possession gets into the whole matter. Everybody gets worked up about possessing things. It's mine. I must possess it. I must have it. You don't own it. Stop getting all bent out of shape about what you possess. Nobody's going to care about that in the end. How many rolls of toilet paper the Purple Owl owned or possessed? Well, the Purple Owl possessed and owned 500 rolls of toilet paper. You think anybody's going to be like, hey, Purple Owl, once upon a time, in this particular universe where your existence exists, you owned 500 paper towels, or you owned 500 rolls of toilet paper. Now, what they do care about, or what it cares about, is what you do with your possessions and your ownership. Are you going to hoard it? Like a good little boy or girl, you're going to hoard all your possessions to yourself and only use it for yourself. Remember when you were in grade school and they taught you sharing was caring? Well, how is it that you guys don't share anymore? Is it because you don't care? What happened to the love? What happened to sharing things? Maybe somebody needs this. Maybe I should go and find out. I think that's what we all should do. We should be more sharing and caring. You know, they used to have a Kit Kat bar commercial. Give me a break, give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. There's 2 bars. You can break it. You can eat 1 bar. And you can share 1 bar. You can break the bar. You can eat both bars and not share. You can break the bar and you can share both bars. Or you can give the bar to somebody else. There's numerous options in this thing, or this game that we call life. Are you hoarding all your possessions out of fear that you won't have anything? Yeah. Just remember, you don't own anything anyway. You're just leasing it. The only thing you get to determine is what you do with that lease when it expires. That's what you ought to really be worried about when your lease expires and you're called up to figure out what you did with your lease time period, with your possessions.